I wanted to talk about drafting a bill that calls an election. You may know that in the California Legislature, they can call a statute, sorry, they can call an election by enacting a statute, and they do so by specifying a date on which the election will be held and what the subject matter will be on that election ballot. So, what does a bill that calls an election look like? Well, the following that I'll describe are some of the key parts, the main provisions in a bill that calls an election. The first place you'll note is in the bill title, and the bill title, of course, will include the code section or sections and the code itself that's being added or amended or repealed, followed by the relating clause, so an act relating to whatever, specify it like local government finance. And the end of the title after the relating clause will always say calling an election, comma, to take effect immediately. The second place you'll note is in the Legislative Council's digest. And at the end of the digest, after existing law is described and what the bill does is described, and before the Legislative Council digest keys, you'll see one sentence that provides this bill would declare that it is to take effect immediately as an act calling an election. In addition, you could have as many as 5 different plus sections. These are uncodified sections of the bill, always at the end after the codified language. And amongst those 5 provisions will be first, a special election is hereby called to be held throughout the state on a specified date. The special election shall be consolidated with the statewide election to be held on that date. The consolidated election shall be held and conducted in all respects as if if there were only one election and only one form of ballot shall be used. The next paragraph that's included is notwithstanding the requirements of sections 9040, 9043, 9044, 9061, 9082, and 9094 of the Elections Code or any other law, the Secretary of State shall submit the specified section of this particular bill to the voters at the specified date statewide general election. The next standard paragraph provides, notwithstanding section 13115 of the Elections Code, the specified section of this act, this bill, and any other measure placed on the ballot by the legislature for the specified date of the statewide general election or special election after the 131-day deadline set forth in section 9040 of the Elections Code shall be placed on the ballot following all other ballot measures in the order in which they qualified as determined by chapter number. The fourth paragraph, that's pretty standard, will say the Secretary of State shall include in the ballot pamphlets mailed pursuant to section 9094 of the Elections Code the information specified in section 9084 of the Elections Code regarding the ballot measure contained in the specified section of this bill. And then the final plus section is always, this act calls an election within the meaning of Article 4 of the Constitution and shall go into immediate effect.